So I just got back from watching the new Superman movie, and as I used to be the review guy, I don't really do that anymore nowadays. I figured I kind of want to talk about this one because I kind of want to talk about it with people. To be honest, I don't really stream right now, and I'm not gonna just boot up a stream just to talk about this movie. And I figure, I don't know where I'm going to post this. Part of me is like, maybe I should post it on the old comic channel, but I think it's going to die anywhere I post it. So I'm just filming this to film it because I just want to have some fun and talk about this movie. There will be spoilers. So if you haven't watched the movie and you don't want spoilers, because I know I hate spoilers, please just bookmark this and watch it later and watch it after you've seen the film. And then you can hear my thoughts on it because I kind of just want to talk about a bunch of things, and there will definitely be spoilers. And I don't want to ruin this movie for you, especially if you've been looking forward to it, because I know I absolutely hate when people do that for me. But let's go ahead and talk about this new Superman movie. James Gunn's Superman. This is basically the reboot of the DCU. Long gone is dead, the DCEU. And anything that Snyder touched at all is all dead. It's not coming back. It's done. It's over. It's a new era. And I think a lot of people, comics fans, especially DC ones, are hoping that this Superman movie is going to be great and do amazing, and it's going to kick off a whole bunch of things. But anyways, let's dive into this thing, okay? First thing right off the bat, we all kind of knew this going in. There was going to be no origin story for Superman, right? And that's the first place I want to start, because I think, yes, we do not need origin films anymore. They are done to death. We don't need one for Batman. We don't need to see the Waynes die anymore, you know what I mean? We don't need to see that in cinema at all. And same thing with Superman. There's been so many Superman films. We don't need to see him fall to Krypton, right? But I will say, the one problem when you do not have an origin or an introduction to these characters, and you're just starting a movie like if they've always been the hero, it's kind of hard to build relationships. And that is the one thing I'm going to say about this film, is there are so many characters in this film that are pointless and you have no connection to them whatsoever. The Kents, get them out of here. The Kents, they didn't really serve a big purpose. I know why they were there, and there is kind of this wholesome moment at the end that kind of ties it all together, but you have to fill in a lot of blanks on why the Kents. You basically have to know Superman. That's the easiest thing to say, is you have to know Superman to know how important the Kents are. But even then, nothing about those two characters blew me away at all. Not at all. It wasn't I didn't feel an emotional connection to them, especially when they're trying to comfort Clark after some things in the movie, and they're not even in the film that long. So completely pointless. I thought the Kents were just not. Yeah, there was no emotional connection there for me, and I think that's one of the problems that you get when you start these movies off of he's been Superman for 3 years or whatever, however long the time was. You don't get to build that relationship with his parents, right? Because they would have been there on his first battle. They would have been there on his first girlfriend, all that kind of jazz, whatever. You would have seen those kind of relationships that build that. None of that. You don't get that. And there's I don't know. So the Kents did nothing for me in this film. You want to talk about other characters that did nothing and were completely pointless in this film? Can we talk about all the people that worked at the Daily Planet? Dude, the only important people in this film were freaking Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane. Throw the rest of the people out. Perry, pointless. Perry didn't do shit in this film. It was crazy. He had bigger roles in Snyder's films, to be honest. Perry, not even a pointless. Cat Grant, and I don't mean to sound terrible when I say this, but Cat Grant was literally there to show boobs. That was it. Her character, completely pointless. You only, as bad as her blonde wig was in this film, she's wearing a crazy push-up bra in this film, and that's all you notice about this character. Completely pointless. Cat Grant did not need to be in this film. I don't know why she was forced in there. And then there's I guess he was the sports guy? I don't know. There's another character that you see right at the start of the film, and then you don't really see him again until the ending when all the destruction is happening. Pointless. Those characters did not need to be there. They were a waste of space, a waste of air, a waste of screen time. That happened, I feel like, kind of a lot in this film. So again, this is one of those things when you're trying to build a universe. I think too many directors bring in too many characters, and I think that was a problem. So yeah, that's the one thing I just kind of want to get out there, since this is like a kickoff film. A lot of wasted time and energy in some of these characters here. But then let's go ahead and talk about the next big thing that from the trailers and promos that I've seen in this film, are the throwing in your face of crypto, right? People love dogs. I love dogs. But I also know dogs can be a pain in the ass. I have one. And I will say, I think crypto, a little too much in this film for me. I like crypto. I don't like that he was too much of a bad dog in this film, and there was really no connection between him and Superman. But it is kind of weird because, like, they try to say that they're, I don't know, at the start, this literally happens at the start of the film. You've seen it in the trailer, so this isn't even a spoiler yet, but there's that part where he's like, crypto, home, take me home. And the trailers make it seem like Superman and crypto actually have some kind of relationship. In the movie, they have they don't really have a relationship. It's just crypto's a bad dog and like Superman is taking care of him. We learn at the end of the film, obviously it all makes sense at the end of the film, because crypto's not his. It's his cousin, Supergirl. She makes a cameo at the end of this. I thought that was kind of cool. I think some people are probably gonna hate Supergirl because she kind of comes in with this drunken, I don't want to say Valley Girl, but kind of like personality. And I think some people might hate that. But I do want to point out there for my comic heads, they're going off Tom King's story for, it's called, that's what the movie's going to be called. It's going to be Supergirl, I think Woman of Tomorrow. Is that what it's called? I could be wrong there. I might be blanking on that. I don't even know if I own that particular Tom King book because I was waiting for the hardcover. But they're going off of that story, and they even say it in the film where she says like she's partying on other planets with red suns because that basically makes her human or whatever. She's able to get drunk essentially. And so they kind of hint at. That's kind of cool. I'm glad that they're hinting at the Supergirl movie because that is going to be the next feature film. But, and then we see that, crypto's her dog. So that's a lot of that. So that's kind of what it is. But I feel like, that first trailer I saw, crypto seems like he's supposed to be Superman's dog. And so it's just kind of weird. Crypto's just kind of a pain in the ass most of the film. And I know he's supposed to be like the cute dog and whatnot. But, yeah, I don't know. He was in this film too much. And he was supposed to be the comedic relief a lot of the times, and there was a little bit of Marvel-esque stuff in this film, in my opinion, and I've always said this, I fucking hate the Marvel style of when things are supposed to be serious, and then this joke comes out of nowhere, and it's like slapstick. They do that here. Gunn is obviously from Marvel. He did it in this film, too. It's not as bad. The characters that were meant to be serious in this film, most of them are always serious the whole time. But there are some that are, trying to be funny and then they are funny or whatever. And it's Superman. It's a little bit more lighthearted. But I will say, I do really hate that comedic timing just doesn't exist anymore in a lot of films, especially these superhero films. And the biggest thing is at the end, when Superman confronts Lex Luthor and there's like this big thing and Lex Luthor is going off and saying all this stuff, that's supposed to be like a serious moment. Crypto comes out of nowhere and starts just like throwing him around and he's like ragdolling him or whatever. It was stupid. I hated that, to be honest. I'm just not a big fan of it because Crypto is a superpowered dog that could destroy a human, and Superman was kind of just letting it happen. So yeah, I don't know. That was kind of weird. I didn't mind some of the other moments with Crypto where he's like chasing the spheres and catching them because they're like a ball or whatever. But there was just a lot of Crypto in this movie, and I could have done with a lot less personally, but Crypto is going to sell big time with kids. I think kids are going to love this film because of Crypto. So I'm just going to say that's probably little old man me just kind of freaking, overthinking it. It's just wasn't my cup of tea. And that's totally fine. I knew going into this that there was going to be Crypto, huge selling point, whatever. I wasn't a big fan. He's cute at some moments, but other moments I think that was just too much for me. But anyways, let's get into the whole, what did I think of Superman? What did I think of the movie, the action? The action was kind of cool. I will say, maybe I'm just I don't know. There was a lot of movements when he's flying and the camera's turning and stuff. That got a little much for me. Just because it was a lot of zoom, zoom, whoa, 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 whoa kind of thing. And I was just bro, whoa. But it's Superman. They're trying to make it more engaging instead of just you're seeing him fight from far away. You know what I mean? I get it. But yeah, that was it is what it is. But the action for the most part, you got what you wanted in a Superman fight. I mean, big, superpowered people. He's able to actually take damage. I mean, that's how they start off with the film, by telling you he just lost his first fight. And yeah, so it was pretty good. I feel like I got some good action in there. Was there anything that made me go whoa? No, I thought the kaiju fight was going to be a little better, but it was kind of just used as a way for us to see the Justice Gang show up. And which was kind of cool. Hawk Girl, I don't know how I feel about Hawk Girl. I think my brain is too set on the Hawk Girl from the animated series, and she was more stoic and chill. And here, I don't know. She's got a little feisty vibe to her. I don't know. We saw a little bit of her, so I'm not going to judge her completely off of that. Although they never confirmed this, but I'm pretty sure she killed somebody. So that was kind of gangster. Wonder if that's going to play into something in future films, because she straight up murdered a president. So that has me intrigued, because are they going to play, if that goes into future storylines, especially if you know anything about Hawk Girl from the animated series, are we going to get the Thanagarians coming to the planet or something like that? Be very interesting. So, color me intrigued, gun. So there's that. Loved Green Lantern's character. I mean, Nathan Fillion being fucking, guy. I think he did it pretty well. No complaints there. Mr. Terrific. You know what? I was surprised. I loved Terrific's character. He was great. I love how he was just kind of just a badass dude. I liked it. And he has a good fight scene. He's smart. He's awesome. He's just cool. He wasn't overly stoic. He was kind of a badass, but at the same time, I'm Mr. Terrific. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that. Some people might not like that. I don't know if they want him to be stoic. But if you've ever read Tom King's book, I don't think it's called Terrific. I could be wrong, but he's oh my God, I don't know what I'm missing. I'm blanking on that right now, but Tom King wrote a version of Mr. Terrific that is really badass. Kind of got that same vibe. So was that in... I don't know. I'm forgetting anyways. But Terrific was cool. I liked him. That was dope. So the Justice Gang was enjoyable. I feel like there was something else I was going to say about him. But, oh, yes. I got to applaud James Gunn for this, because a lot of people were like, oh, what would Mr. Terrific look like if they gave him the wide eyes? You know what I mean? Batman... Everybody wants wide eyes for Batman. Look, we get it for Deadpool. We get it for, I think, Wolverine even had wide eyes, if I'm not mistaken, in Deadpool Wolverine. And so everybody's like, oh, can we get that? We didn't get that with Mr. Terrific. And I was just like, oh, damn. Until we did, because they used the wide eyes as a way to, it's a part of his tech. And it, goes into, super in-depth with his, spheres. And I was like... Okay, we got the wide eyes on terrific. That's pretty dope. So I don't think we're gonna get that like all the time in this. So there's some hope that, you know, maybe we'll get the wide eyes with Batman, but this is not gonna always be like that. But it should be, in my opinion. Do it, Gunn. Do it. Gunn's already also said that we might not get the underwear Batman, which kind of sucks, but is what it is. I will say Superman's suit looks pretty good for the most part in this whole film. I think, like, honestly, like, the trunks look good, but at certain angles, it does look kind of funny. But for the most part, you don't even think about it. But that did cross my mind while I was watching the film. Overall, I liked Superman, like Clark Kent and Superman. He's not really Clark Kent that long, to be honest. He's not. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, and you might like that. You might actually think that's really good that he's not Clark Kent for a long time. Like, he's Superman most of the film. So that's a cool thing. If you want to see more of Superman, that's great. I think that's awesome. But again, it comes down to that idea of we don't really get to build these relationships with characters because usually he builds, you know, you see Superman or Clark Kent make these connections with people as Clark Kent. There wasn't a lot of Clark Kent, so there's not a lot of those connections. So again, like a lot of these characters just kind of seem like they were there to be there. And yeah, the same thing happens with like Lex Luthor. Like, again, since we're just kind of like starting Superman 3 years into his run, like, you just know Lex already hates Superman, and you have to, this is like one of those first films that I feel like I've watched where, like, you really need to know about the comics. Like, if you don't know about Superman, you might be lost in a lot of this film, whereas obviously, if you're watching the MCU, you can get pretty much all of the knowledge if you watch all the previous films. At least, you know, that's what it was. Used to be very easy to do that before Endgame. Now it's insane if you want to try to get into that universe. It's like getting into One Piece. But, you know, kind of the same thing here. When I was watching this, I was like, dude, I'm filling in a lot of the blanks here for a lot of these relationships in the movie. So, yeah, I think that might be a big downside for new viewers. But it is what it is. You know, maybe they'll clean it up over time. There were parts when I was asking myself, like, how did this happen? I thought that was going to be some plot points. Luckily, Gunn does clean up a lot of things throughout the film. You just have to wait for it. So there will be moments in the film when you're watching, like, a lot of people are going to be like, how did they just get into the Fortress of Solitude? That's revealed later on. You know what I mean? The same thing with Crypto. Like, why is Crypto such a bad dog? Or, like, why is he whatever? You learn that at the end of the film. So there's, like, things like that are very interesting. They kind of do spell out a lot of, like, why people might not like Superman in an interview with Lois Lane, which I thought was an interesting way to kind of reveal a lot of stuff. We actually got to see an interesting side of Clark, in my opinion, because he's not being, he's kind of got the, like, trying to be a good guy or trying to be a little silly at times too, but he gets a little intense during this interview, and I'm like, okay, cool, a little bit of friction between Lois Lane and Clark Kent, which I thought was kind of cool. But again, like, it's same thing. Since we're starting in 3 years in, you just got to assume that they've had a good relationship. And I think even in the film, they're only, like, been dating for 3 months at the time. So it's like, I don't know, man. I will say that's where I didn't feel any emotional connection to anybody in this film. Like, genuinely did not. And then to the biggest thing that I think, you know, Fox News is already talking about it. They're saying that this film is woke. This is the woke mind virus or whatever. I don't give a shit about any of that. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, I've always said this. I always think it's stupid when people are like, I read comics to freaking escape the world. Comics were made, like, you know, they were propaganda back during war times. They've always been political. They will always be political. So anybody that watches this Superman film and thinks, like, oh my God, this is, and you know what, to be honest, it might be a little on the nose, but it is definitely, like, you know, there's a lot of parallels to a certain war and or genocide happening in another part of the world right now, and Superman is saving the day, or the heroes are saving the day. But I will say, in context, it makes a lot of sense, because the heroes do end up stopping a war that was going to be pushed by Lex Luthor, a whole bunch of stuff. Just watch the movie. You'll see what it is. Basically, Lex is starting a war in another country so he could use that to have a reason to kill Superman. It's all, it's a decently thought out concept, and it shows just how smart Lex is, which I kind of liked. And, might be how the real world works, if you know what I mean. But anyways, there's a really great line at the end of the film, because one of the big climactic things is when Superman's fighting himself, he has he's worried about this war that's about to start in the freaking, Junipar, I think it's what it's called. And he's wants to get over there, but he's I called some friends. That's when the Justice Gang shows up and kind of has this cool epic scene of saving all these people from being murdered. And that was really cool, but it leads to this moment with Rick Flag and some other, secret agent goon guy. I don't even know what the hell his name was, but Rick Flag's in the film. And this guy says, well, Flag, I hope, I think he says, I hope you like the metahumans, because now they're calling the shots, because they just went and just overstepped the boundaries and stopped a war to be the good guys so nobody dies. But of course, the political bigwigs are not happy about that, because they're oh, no diplomacy now, and now these guys can just do whatever they want, which is a big undertone of the film. And which is more than likely going to be a problem in the future. We know Flag, if you've seen, Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, oh my God, the one that came out, the animation that came out, Flag's in that. Oh my God, why am I not remembering it? But you know what I mean. There's an animation that came out, and I'm completely blanking on the title. It's not Suicide Squad. It is the other ones. Task Force. No, it's not even Task Force X. That's the same shit. Whatever. That cartoon, that's going to show you where that starts. You know what I mean? So, or how that's connected, because Flag is going to work with that. They got to start using metahumans to fight metahumans. It's going to be a whole thing. But what else? I feel like that was a big moment that I wanted to really talk about in this film, and I'm trying to think about it. Oh yeah, totally just remembered what it was. Dude, okay. I'm gonna say this. I'm tired of fucking different universes, pocket universes, fucking other dimensions. I'm tired of it in superhero films. I'm over it. I want the drama. I want the planet fighting thing or whatever to be on Earth. Stay on Earth. I'm tired of jumping the different portals and all of this crap. Look, if you're gonna introduce the freaking boom tubes or whatever in the future, that's fine. Just show that you're always going to Earth and you're not going to all of these other planets and stuff like that, or whatever. If they're gonna make the satellite, fucking Justice Tower in the sky, whatever, fine. If you're gonna use it for that, cool. It's a way they get around. But can we not jump to other universes and do all this crap? I'm tired of it, bro. The Marvel's been doing it for a whole phase, and I know James Gunn basically shit himself with having to kill the Snyderverse, but he also started Peacemaker, which is really popular, and he also has freaking Blue Beetle that he promised is going to be in this universe. So he's got to do something to kind of merge everything, and we're probably going to learn a lot more about that when Peacemaker comes out. There's going to be whatever. We have to do this universe jumping crap, but I'm tired of it. Smash everything together, keep it on Earth, and that's where I want it to stay. But that's not even going to happen, because Supergirl is going to be on other planets, most likely, if it is following King's freaking story. I'm just over that, man. That's the biggest thing that happens in this film. Not fighting the kaiju, not fighting the war in another country, not even fighting himself. The biggest thing is Lex Luthor opens a portal, and this portal creates a black hole and starts sucking up Metropolis. And I'm dude, I'd rather Superman would have been fighting an invasion instead of that crap. I'm so tired of this insane destruction that has to happen in every superhero film, dude. Just give me, fighting the kaiju could have been good enough, man. It could have been, but it's just used as this device to bring in the Justice Gang, which is fine. I get it. But man, I'm over the super, thing shooting out of the sky and coming down. Luckily, it wasn't that, but this was just the reverse. It's like, oh, it's coming from the ground now. It's like, bro. So that was one of my biggest gripes with the film. If I'm being honest, like, I told this in my Discord, I would not give this film a higher than an 8. But since I just watched it, I don't even know what I really think about it. There was not like this crazy moment where I was like, dude, that was dope. You know what I mean? Or like, that was an amazing part of the film. Again, I had no emotional connections to any of the characters in this film. I will say Jimmy Olsen, a lot more badass than I thought he was going to be. I thought they were going to go with like the nerdy, like, hey, Superman, how's it going? Kind of Jimmy Olsen. No, this dude fucking lays pipe apparently. So shout out to you, Jimmy Olsen. But yeah, I don't know, man. I will say decent film. I think you should definitely go check it out. I've always said everybody go judge things for themselves. Don't take my word for it, because you might absolutely love this film, and I hope you do. I hope a lot of people love this film, because I want the DCU to succeed. I want there to be better stories, better characters, all that kind of jazz. I just think that there was too much going on in this film, and they could have dialed it back a lot more, had a lot less characters. And yeah, I remember reading an interview a long time ago when we were covering the podcast where James Gunn said that everybody served a purpose in this film. Like, I guess because people were thinking that maybe there was too many characters. Yeah, that's a fucking lie. And I think he was probably referencing the Justice Gang. The Justice Gang actually does serve a point in this film. But all those people at the Daily Planet fucking didn't. And I don't even think the Kents really did much in this film either. So anyways, that's my rant about the new Superman movie. I have no idea what channel this is going to be on. But yeah, let me know what you think of the movie when you see it. What do you think is going to be, are you excited for the future of the DCU? I'm excited. I'm still going to watch the films that come out. I was just kind of hoping that this film was going to like re-spark my love for comic books. I did start reading comics again this week. I'm reading the new Detective Comics run. It's pretty good. Like, I'm not going to lie. The story is intriguing enough compared to the past few years of Batman that we've had. But it's Tom Taylor, and Tom Taylor usually doesn't stick the landing, so I'm a little scared. But for the most part, he usually has the first 3/4 of his runs are usually pretty good. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But yeah, so I want that spark again of just being like, yes, I am into this again. But I don't think Superman was it. Although I did enjoy the animated show. So we'll see where it goes. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think about Superman. And yeah, what film are you excited about in the DCU's future? All right.